It's 5 in the morning.
Despacito's blasting.
Of course Despacito is blasting.
Oh my God.
It's my favorite song, Kent. It's my favorite song. We have brand launch coming up, and we're here so that we can nail down all of our design stuff with our Tel Aviv team. And the Tel Aviv team always stays late for us, so we decided to come in early for them. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning. Oh my gosh. This is rough. I know. Kent, you doing okay behind the camera there? You've been really quiet.
I'm fine.
This is the earliest I think we've ever met with the Tel Aviv team.
I think this is the most normal time ever. Well, it's usually like 8, 9 p.m.
Or you stay up until like 1 a.m. or midnight and then they're waking up. This is true life.
Teamwork.
Teamwork on multiple continents.
Teamwork, one office. Well, I was wondering because all of a sudden the music came on.
And you're like, someone has to be here.
No, and Ken looks up and he's just like terrified. He's like, did you just do that?
It's terrifying.
Also, what is that
This office
jacket?
is just black.
Hello, miss.
It's now 7 a.m. We have been here for 2 hours and the office is finally starting to come alive and the sun has risen, which is amazing. Hi, good morning. So I'm heading back. We're gonna be quiet. Sales team's working. But we're making really good progress on the brand and we still have a little ways to go until we are ready for the 7x7 and then like the regular day to begin. How's it going in here, guys? Good?
We're hacking.
We're hacking away?
We're working.
Are we brand hacking?
Yeah.
Awesome. Ken, what are you working on?
We're bracking.
We're bracking.
Bracking?
You should never say that again.
No, I don't think that's a good word. I think it's kind of like fracking. Do you know how you can spot somebody that's in the iGen?
How?
You ask them what a pound sign is. And if they know the answer and they don't call it a hashtag.
They're over 30.
I know the pound sign.
Kent, what is the pound sign? Yeah, this is what I mean by this. iGen, if you say, what is a pound sign? They're going to say LBs.
Yeah.
They're not going to do an actual pound sign because they call it a hashtag.
Hashtag LBS. What are you up to?
I am getting set up for a webinar with some community builders in Tel Aviv.
Oh, what? Oh, we heard about this the other day.
Yeah, so throwback to an earlier vlog episode. So last week I was prepping for this and today I'm gonna be speaking on what we've done to grow Rising Tide Society, but it's less about like, oh, here's what you should do, and it's more about these are learnings that we've had in growing the community. Here are the mistakes. It's actually more of like, here are the mistakes we've made. Here's what we've done even in the last couple of weeks and months in order to improve, and then opening the floor to these community leaders to ultimately have them dialogue about it and how it applies to them. But I'm excited, and it's a small group. They sign up for this. It's called Jolt. It enables them to kind of grow their career, grow their ultimately like their role. They are not, as far as I'm aware, small business owners. These are more like heads of community or heads of marketing kind of thing at different companies and startups. And so it should be really fun.
Yes. Hi there. How are you today?
Good. Are you? Where is that? I was going to say, I can see we're in Tel Aviv. So good evening in Tel Aviv.
Hi everyone.
Hi everybody. And so for us, it looks a lot like, you know, stepping up and leading through contributing content, then maybe becoming a co-chair or chair of your chapter, then becoming an actual Tuesdays Together leader. And like we're working on building that ladder higher and higher so that people also have the ability to ascend it and continue kind of building their skills and growing with the organization. I've been vlogging for like a month, right?
Yeah.
Like a month. What's been so fascinating is, so Kent comes from the YouTube world. So we launched the vlog and the goal here was my life's changed. I mean, you're like, oh, were you East Coast, now you're West Coast?
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Just changing.
And I wanted to be creating content that was as transparent as possible so that people could really start to understand, oh, this is what Natalie does now, and start to better understand like my role with Rising Tide, with Honeybook, where I'm going, like all of that. And so that's why we created it. But what's been so cool and fascinating is like where Kent built a YouTube following, we were like, oh, we're gonna build a YouTube channel. And what we realized was I had already cultivated such a following on Instagram and Facebook that the minute we started putting video content on Facebook, it was doing like, we had a video doing 28,000, 30,000 views in the first week.
Right.
It's
like,
crazy.
It's
Whereas
so
YouTube,
nuts.
like, it was great for a little bit, but I've never poured resources into a new platform.
I totally.
My audience is a little older, and so it's not a younger audience that's like on YouTube for 8 hours a day.
And like very specific tutorials, like how to X, Y, and Z at Minecraft.
right? Like that's what my little like 12-year-old nephews are.
He's nodding. I wish the blog we could see.
That's what I watch.
I mean, it's almost an SEO platform for video, which is great.
I know.
Because sometimes we've seen, like we were doing some research, like some of my friends even had videos where it's so niche that it does explode.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend that just it literally had a video pop and it just exploded, but it was so niche. Whereas what we're doing, it's vlogging, it's a little different. But my audience was so deeply rooted on other platforms that we just saw this immediate pickup where we're expecting 3,000 to 5,000 views per vlog on a different platform, not counting even YouTube. But now with YouTube, like I feel like we're just doing it there, still to do it there because we feel like we have to.
I get it.
Yes, a lot of other people use podcasts for that. So their podcast is like their voice. We see the podcast. Yes, like I will be very much a part of it.
Yeah.
But this is my chance not to share what I do.
Yeah.
This is my chance to highlight the community.
Are you going to be hosting the podcast?
Yes.
Cool. Totally.
You're never going to reach it. And the reality is your success, like what your contribution is to this world, it may not be you getting the gold star at all. Like I look at women that have come before. Like many women put cracks in a glass ceiling before it was shattered.
Yeah.
Like that's, and so when we talk about female empowerment, we talk about, like I'm doing something with kids for like International Women's Day. Yeah, it's like it's not just about the women we can point to right now and say these women are leaders. It's all the women you've never heard of.
100%.
Right?
And also like what is it? It's like the G.D. Anderson quote of like feminism isn't here to make women strong. It's to remind them of their strength. That's super exciting.
So we're trying to think differently because you talk about like a crowded space, like the podcast arena.
There's
now.
so many. Everyone always tells me, do a podcast. I'm like, guys, I'm not fucking doing a podcast. I'm not. Like, I just, because everyone wants to tell you to do whatever vertical of content that exists that day. And it's like, single creators cannot do all of this.
Right. And if you're going to do it, here's our thought. If you're going to do it differently.
Really, and
because
really well.
Yes. And so that's where we're at. We're kind of thinking, okay, maybe we want to do them live. We want to have a video component. We might want to have a live component. Even with like the structure of how we do them, a lot of people just pop up a podcast. We want it to be something where we're always ahead. We have our strategic marketing assets ready.
Totally.
Trying to get me to talk about it on the blog, and I never
This
do.
is like, you writing a book is like you making me make my YouTube videos again.
I want to do this so bad. I've wanted to do it for a really long
You're
time.
going to do it.
I know.
You're going to do it. But what is holding you up from doing it? Of knowing the process?
I think fear and ignorance of the process, because for me, like everything else that I've done in my life, I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
And I will find, if there's information on the internet, I will find it. The hard part with book publishing is like how much of that information is actually true. And how much it's even relevant. Like I talked to the book agent and she was so funny. She had no idea who I was, and I just went and met with her. You'll appreciate this. And I said, okay, well, I really want to write a book. And she's like, yeah, you and everyone else. And I was like, I know. And I was like, so what is the biggest factor in terms of actually getting signed by a publisher? And she goes, well, if you don't have, she literally goes, if you don't have at least like 20,000 on something, newsletter list. I asked her, I'm like, why? And she explained to me, she goes, well, the publishing world has changed. It used to be you didn't sell books unless you got a publisher. Now it's publishers can barely sell books. You sell your books. And it's a very different process.
Writing was always my first love.
Yes.
I always knew that I wanted to write a book, but not for writing a book's sake. But like once I was like, I always said like once I'm pregnant with it, there's like, and you can kind of start to feel when that happens. I didn't know anything either. And that first nonfiction book proposal class at the Writer's Grotto was a top agent out of New York. I was just a baby. I was literally a baby. I was 23 when I took this class, and she was so clear, like telling me that. That was the first time I had ever heard it. And then once I got through kind of, the next phase of my career building out the communities, I had a couple mentors who had massive books, and they were like, okay, here's what's really going on. Did the intros with me to agents. I worked for 4 months on a book proposal, and then had to do like more growth because they were like, this is good, so if we get to this next level of audience, then we'll be able to get more. But the metaphor that was really helpful for me is like publishers they're responsible for B2B. They're looking at authors for the B2C, like because they'll get your book in Barnes and Noble. You have to get your book in the audience's hand, and it really does start with that book proposal. Like even people with the biggest audiences who have all of these, even people who publishers are asking them to write a book still have to do a book proposal. That was the big first hump. Then finding an agent that you want to be working with, which is most likely for you going to come from intros. They're also publishers marketplace. Like, you can stalk, you can see every deal being done for every major publisher. You can see what deals agents are doing, what deals editors are doing, and it's $25 a month. And you just like, I stalked for a year, seeing like, who do I need to be talking to? Also, has someone already written my book?
This is the big thing that she stressed as well, which is like, what are you bringing to the table
that's
that is new and different? And she's like, everything's been written. She literally was like, everything has been written now.
It has.
Like, what is your angle on it that's different?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, trust me, I'm writing a career book for women. So there is 7 million of those books, and I just had to sit with the fact that like, I have done something that very few people have done, which is I was on the road for 5 years, night after night after night, talking to women. Trust myself that like this message and the way that I write it deserves to be told. You'll know when you're ready for it. And also, the proposal that I wrote and the proposal that got shopped out a year later were the same but different. They were the same heart, but they were packaged and talked about and had a different title and had a different angle. And then the book that got bought also was a layer different, because I had an editor that over the course of 48 hours wanted another chapter, and she goes, it's good, but it's missing the mark by like 10%. Can you figure out that 10%? And I was like, like whiteboard best, like smartest best friends, like trying to figure it all out. That editor ended up passing on the book after doing all that work. And that's the book that I'm writing. You know, and it's like, so it just constantly has this.
Which is why I think a lot of people don't actually get to the part of doing it. This is the difference, right? So it's that struggle. In order to birth something worth people consuming, it isn't easy. It's the same reason why I think there are so many people that will look at what others are doing and they feel defeated, but yet have never taken the first step. And you have to just be able to say, like, no, this is my calling. Like, the book you're going to write is different from the book anyone else is going to write, as long as you are here.
Yeah, it's just going to. And it's like, it's the metaphor of, not the metaphor, the very real life example of racehorses have blinders on for a reason, so they don't get spooked, so they don't, like get anxious and misstep and all of the things, which listen to your own advice. However, there's lots of people I know with massive audiences who actually don't. They can get the editor, they can get the cover designer, they can, like, all those pieces that go into it, they can pull together and do and get 75% of their book, not 10. And I think that's a really big deal, especially if you don't need the money up front to go and write. That's the other thing.
My audience ranges. I've got a lot of people that are younger. Actually, we had somebody comment on the vlog today that was born when I was 7, and this has never happened before. And you start to look at it, you're like, oh man, okay, like the age gap here. It's happening.
I know, it's starting to happen. I'm with you.
Yeah, she's not even in the workforce, but her post was basically saying, I watch your vlogs and I'm inspired by seeing a woman in the workplace like leading like this. She's like, I didn't know, like she's learning
to see it
through our eyes.
It looks like. Yeah.
But for me, what's interesting is I keep thinking, like, does she read blogs? And when I ask her, she says no. Like, these kind of my cousins, like, they don't. But that doesn't mean they're not consuming written content, and it doesn't mean they're not consuming content.
Right.
And it doesn't mean they're not consuming blogs. I'm just wondering if it's different. How it's shaping.
100% is.
And we can't keep doing that's why I asked about self-publishing. That's why, because to me, where I want to be is what's next.
Yep.
I don't even want to do what's being done now.
No.
What's being done now is done.
Yeah.
What is next?